Well, sir, who on earth are you?
Well, if we're being stuffy about it, I'm General the Lord Dannatt. I used to be head of the army, and this evening where we are talking in the premises of YMCA Norfolk, I'm here because I'm president of YMCA Norfolk, and it's a great privilege to be so.
Sir, thank you so much for this interview. Tell me, do you think that the church is still relevant to 21st century Britain?
Yes, I do. The church is relevant, and the church must be relevant. And it's almost that latter comment that makes it so important. It's got to make sure that it is relevant. It's got to make sure that it meets the needs of people where they are at any one time. There's no point having wonderful, beautiful services for an elderly congregation when the young are asking other questions. So the church has got to continue to adapt, keep up to speed, and particularly to focus on youth, I think. And that's why, without being parochial about it, I think the YMCA, Young Men's Christian Association, is pretty important.
How can we best communicate the everlasting gospel? Is preaching still a relevant means of communication, or is preaching dead?
Preaching's not dead. Preaching, as far as teaching is concerned, to existing congregations, I think is really important. I think, though, we need to find innovative ways of getting the message out more widely. After all, not a very large proportion of our population goes to conventional churches today. So I think finding different ways, whether it's using the media, whether it's using modern media like, goodness sake, Facebook and Twitter. I mean, I don't really understand these things, but I know that's what young people focus on these days. So finding appropriate ways to get the Christian message out, I think, is really important. But yes, there's still a place for traditional preaching at the right time.
Words are important, and as you know, it's the 400th anniversary of the King James Bible. Do you think the Bible as a book is still something that should be important to Great Britain?
The Bible as a book is extremely important, not just to Great Britain, but I think to all those who are looking for the meaning of life. Now, of course, as a Christian, one again is rather parochial, but in my experience, living one's life based on the truths and the promises in the Bible is, in my experience, the best way to live life. Now, others who follow other religions will have a similar view, I'm sure, but one can only go from one's own experience. And my experience that the truth of the Bible and the promises in the Bible are the surest way of a foundation, a good foundation in life.
So my final question for you, what do you think is our biggest challenge as a nation? Is Britain truly broken?
No, I don't believe Britain is truly broken. I would be very depressed if I thought Britain is broken. Have we got challenges? Yes, we have. We've got a lot of challenges. We've got financial challenges, and I think we've got moral challenges as well. I think our society has become a very secular society. And it's a funny old thing. People seem to want to have the same standards of behaviour and way of life that we used to have a few generations ago. But of course, what they forget is that those standards of behaviour really came from our Christian foundation and our Christian tradition. So you can't have it both ways. And if the baby's gone out with the bathwater a little bit, I think it's worth just going back to fundamentals a little bit and just saying what was at the heart of making this country great in the past. And you don't have to scratch the surface terribly hard and come to the conclusion that Christian faith is a really important part of the bedrock of this country and always has been. And it's my prayer that it will be in the future.
Lord Dannatt, thank you so much for this short interview. God bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.